All right, man. We live and back in full effect for another episode of the APF podcast, episode 128. It is I, the most phenomenal man that shocked the system, aka the coach.
And it's your boy going forward. Hope you guys are having a good day and a good rest of your Friday. And looking forward to the weekend. Let's get started.
The one thing I want to talk about is that Green Bay versus Arizona Cardinals game. Now, who do you think should have really won, knowing the circumstances we knew?
Well, I do think that Arizona, I think Green Bay actually deserved to win. It's just really that Arizona could have at least sent this thing to overtime if AJ Green just does anything other than allow the guy to just intercept the ball, doesn't even try to go for the ball. And you can see Kyler Murray was very frustrated. The entire team's very frustrated because he just went over there and tried to block or something, and the DB made a great play. I do think that throughout the game, they were the better team offensively and defensively. It wasn't really until late that Arizona was able to move the ball. So in the end, the right team did win. It's just that the way it happened was really unfortunate.
I see. So me is it was like 24-21. The punt receiver touched the ball. Green Bay had four chances to score. They didn't. They decided they threw all four times. They did not run. They had a field goal opportunity. They did not take it because they believed that they can score. So they felt like, okay, we can. We believe that we can drop the ball in the end zone and have a what was it a 10 point lead going into the last minute. They did not. They didn't even want to take a. They didn't even want to take a 3 point a 3 point attempt and make it a 6 point game that which forces Arizona to potentially try and win the game. They did not do that. So Arizona almost got close. AJ Green for some reason stopped. Now my pet peeve is you keep playing until you hear that whistle. Once you hear that whistle, then that's when you stop. For some reason, he felt that he got there's a foul. Now I believe that there was no foul. They obviously called no foul, so he was the reason why they lost, in my opinion, because he just stopped. He just stopped
Yeah, he
playing.
stopped. He stopped
So
playing for whatever reason.
I,
Uh,
I guess he stopped playing because he felt like there was a foul.
he,
There was a flag on play, like a holding or something. There was no holding. There was no holding. He wasn't jamming. He wasn't like a grabbing your jersey, not doing nothing. He was doing man to man, staying with you, and then when he was looking at the ball, you weren't looking at the ball, so therefore he had a better opportunity at catching the ball, and he did, and now they won. And now they're 7-1. So I I don't know what to I don't know what to tell him. I mean, Kyler Murray should be pissed at what happened because if anything, they could have probably won the game. If they probably won the game right there, but what can you do now? All you gotta do is just take that L and move on, and hopefully they don't do that dumb, that stupidness again. But
yeah,
I personally was pissed at AJ Green for just stopping. Like, why would you stop? There's nobody called a whistle, no nothing. So he just kind of had like a brain fart there. But you know, good. That's a good one for Green Bay. Now they were the ones to take down Arizona. Now, next time when you have a 3 point opportunity, when the game is up, when you're up by three, take the field goal. Take the field goal, man. You're better off just taking three than zero. You took zero, and you got lucky. You got out there alive because he was really close to scoring. He was really close. So
yeah. This is a
you,
big win for Green Bay. They are now the best. They have the number one seed right now. They have the tiebreaker over Arizona for the rest of the year. So if they're able to keep winning and not really losing the games, they can get that number one bye. So that's good for them, really. that they won that game. Aaron Rodgers won a different way. He didn't have his top three wide receivers, had another 8 starters out. So this is a big win for the team. And that's the type of win that can show a team, look, even if we don't have all our guys, we can still be very competitive and even beat the best teams in the NFL. And those are wins you do want as a team so that your team can feel confident about their ability to compete. So
So,
I
you
do
know,
have my new list.
yeah,
I have
yes. Let's get your NFL out of the way,
alrighty.
so we can
Let's
get
get
so
my
we really can
NFL.
get busy.
Yes, let me get it here for week 7 real quick. So week 7 power rankings are a big change. Lots of changes due to what happened the week before. So going to the start of Sunday of Halloween
And
football.
mind you, he did it. He literally did this in like 10 minutes. So let's just put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I kind of knew what I had anyway, so it's all good. I have to move the Rams up to number 1. They've been winning, as I think they're 6-1. They've won 5 games in a row. They played very well, and they're the most consistent team in the league right now. So for me, I'm going to put them number 1, and they're another. Again, my number 1 team again is playing the Texans for the second straight week. So they're about to move up to 6-1, very easily. Number 2, I'm going to put those Packers. Packers were actually the Rams were number 5 last week, number 1 now. The Packers are number 4, and they're now number 2. Gotta give them props. They did beat my number 1 team, the Cardinals, even though it was somewhat of a weird ending. They showed me they had different ways to win, that they could be physical. They ran the ball really well yesterday. That was the reason why they were winning and scored most of the first touchdown they scored was they ran the ball, and they continued to run the ball all game long, and it worked out for them. So that's a new kind of wrinkle they have. And their defense was really good. They kept Arizona to under 30 points for the first time all season. That is an accomplishment in of itself, since they've been so lethal to start the season. So that's why they're my number 2 team. My number 3 team is the Cardinals. I'm only going to drop my number 1 team 2 spots here from 1 to 3. Just I'm not gonna like do the whole man they're donezo thing, right? Drop them like crazy. No, you're gonna drop 2 spots. You drop, you lost to my second place team, so you had to drop. And Kyler Murray still played pretty well. I think this was his first game where he didn't have a touchdown throw. So that is interesting. But the defense did hold Aaron Rodgers to 24 points. They did do a good job of not allowing the Packers to, run up the score as they did. Even though they did get a break by them going for a 4th down, it's not your fault they went for a 4th down. They just did. So, it's all relative and good. And they still got favorable schedule coming up in the future, anyways. And they're going to be just fine. My number 4 team, they moved up 2 spots from last week from 6 to 4 is the Buccaneers. They've got a big game against the Saints this weekend, so that's going to be big for me. The Saints are consistently always out of my top 10, around 11 to 13 spot. So this is a good game for the Buccaneers to show themselves. Tom Brady has over 20 touchdowns already. It's only been 6 weeks, going to the 7th week. We will, the defense is good. They still have a weak secondary, so we'll see if the boy called Jameis can attack, or they'll let him to attack that weak secondary, because I do think that if they do that, they have a good chance of winning. But they're going to try to run the ball, throw a lot of short passes to Alvin Kamara. The Buccaneers do a good job of keeping those yards after catch to a minimum. They're going to have a good chance of getting them throwing out and giving Tom Brady more chances to score. And hey, they're 6-1. They did beat the Rams, but the Rams have had more impressive showing since that loss than the Buccaneers did. So that's why they're over the Buccaneers for me. If you wanted to know, the Buccaneers are number 5. Now, my number 5 team is the Titans. The Titans were 8th last week. Now they're number 5. The Titans has had 2 of the most impressive wins on the season. Obviously, a great battle against the Buffalo Bills last Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago, and then the shellacking of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, being the first team ever to not allow Patrick Mahomes to score a touchdown in an NFL game, and knocked him out of the game as well. A very physical game they played against Patrick Mahomes, which was very exciting to watch. Derrick Henry continues to show why he's an MVP candidate. Why I think he probably will run for the NFL record 2,100, which is 2,095, 97 yards. I think he's going to be able to run for 2,100 the way he's running. Another 100 plus again on the ground against the Chiefs. Ryan Tannehill was just perfect, throwing 80+% completion percentage for I think 3 touchdowns. So he played very well, and their defense clearly had a blow up. I mean, whatever they did to stop Patrick Holmes and that team was impressive. I did watch a couple of videos on what they did. They said that they really kept Patrick Holmes throwing in the middle of the field and were able to really block Kelsey and Hill on those plays that Mahomes does every game where he tries to extend the play and throw it somewhere. They kept in front. They really kept him from throwing the ball, and their pass rush was really good that week. So, gotta give them the best. They're going to continue to. I think they have the Indianapolis Colts next on Sunday. So this is a big. If they win this, you might as well give them that division and then easy home playoff game. Number 6 is the Buffalo Bills. They moved up one spot. When the Cardinals lose, when my number team lose, people move up. And the Cardinals moved. I'm sorry, the Bills were number six this week. Moved up from 7. The Buffalo Bills, they're going to destroy the Miami Dolphins. They're 14-point underdogs. They're going to beat them into the ground. They're going to have another impressive game. There's probably not much I can really glean from that game because the Dolphins are really bad. They're looking to trade for Deshaun Watson, most likely. And we've got 4 more days until the trade deadline, really. So they're in disarray. Tua is probably not very confident in his job security, which he should not be. And that's going to be a nice, easy game. Josh Allen's probably going to throw for 300 and 3 touchdowns, and it's going to be a performance that keeps them in my power rankings, probably at the same spot, unless some of these teams lose next week. Number 7, you know me, I love Lamar. But after the shellacking that them dudes got, they dropped from number 2 to number 7. Okay, they lost. They lost to the Bengals 41-17. Lamar did not have a very good game. He had one really good pass, but he was not as far as he usually is. A lot of missed passes. Passes go right behind them. They have penalties, but the biggest problem is their secondary. The secondary is hot garbage. They allowed Jamar Chase to run for 80-yard touchdown when 3 of them hit him and couldn't get him down. That happened on multiple other plays where they could not tackle. Their inability to tackle in space is literally why this team is not a Super Bowl contending team, because the offense with Lamar is enough. That defense needs to improve. So we're looking towards a bye week to improve tackling, improve coverage, and keep command in front of you and learn how to tackle. If they do that, we'll be fine. Now, number 8 is the Bengals. The Bengals are now in my top 10 at all. They're now in there. Now, people are going to ask me, why do you have the Bengals under the Ravens? Let me tell you why. Because that game that the Ravens had was a mulligan. That was a very weird game. I do not believe the Bengals are better than the Ravens, and I'll be proven right when they play each other weeks down the road. But the Bengals had a very impressive game. Joe Burrow threw for over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 200 yards, 8 touchdowns. They ran the ball well. They did everything well. They had the best perfect game. But let me tell you something. I do believe, no, I know if the Ravens are on that passing game and then they can get Lamar a usable running back, hopefully before the trade deadline, but most likely won't. If they find a way to get Lamar some help on the running game, I think the Ravens are the best team in that division. No problem. So that's why they're number 8, because I don't think they're better than the Ravens. I just think it was more about the Ravens having a bad day. Okay, the Ravens were able to keep him for half, and then the next half he just cuts them apart. So a very weird Jekyll and Hyde performance by the defense. Defense was very impressive in the first half. Second half they kind of let it go, especially after Lamar and them went straight for a touchdown. A lot to fail like that. That defense is going to take that to heart, and don't be sorry when they come out improved and better tackling against the Vikings next week, not this week. Number 9, Chargers. The Chargers move up. I switch them with the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are my number 10. Chargers did not have any. I think they didn't play that week. Yeah, they were on a bye week last week. The Chiefs quickly they lost. Probably the worst loss of the season, other than the Packers. But the Packers lost in week 1, not in week 6. So no, not in week. Yeah, this is week 6. Not in, no week 8. So that's week 7. Not in week 7. They lost in week 7. 7-3. They couldn't stop the run. Couldn't stop the pass. And Pat Jones couldn't do anything. Didn't score a touchdown. They look horrible. And you know, kept saying they're not really a super contending team. Their defense is too sorry, and teams have figured out what they want to do, and it's starting to really affect Mahomes and that offense. He's throwing interceptions up the hoo ha, and he's probably going to have his first season of double-digit interceptions. So they've got really problems. They're number 10. Uh, my quick one, number 11, the Saints. They're 4-2. They're the best team not in the top 10. Um, yeah, top 10, and that'll be good. All right, I am done.
So for our list, we're just gonna like go back for like who's your one, who's my one, and then make it a bit of a quick process, since so we both don't sit here all day and just yap on. You're more like who's your one, who's my one, ask those type of questions, that type of vibe. So
Okay, will you
my
start?
my one is gonna be the Utah Jazz, and you know, uh, as I see, let me see their past. Let me see their past, their whole again, all the again. Their whole entire week. Okay, no, not priest. Fuck priest. Okay, so they basically been handily beating teams by like over 15 points, almost 15, except the Kings where they beat them by 9. And Rudy Gobert is having also, of course, a monster rebounding year as expected. They're handily beating teams. They beat the Nuggets, and there's not much to see when the team's undefeated and they're just destroying everybody. So that's my number one on my list.
Well, I did put the Jazz number 1. They're the only undefeated left in the NBA undefeated team. They've dominated all the teams they've played, except I get you can say the Kings, except the Kings. And yeah, they're 4-0. They played the only good team most people think they've played, which is Nuggets, and beat them by 12. Rudy Gobert, yes, maybe the first player in a decade, maybe two, that will average 20 rebounds per game with the way he's rebounding the ball. Donovan Mitchell is showing out right now, playing well. He scored the points he needed to score. I think he's like around 24, 25 per game. So he's played well.
And then my number two is the Golden State Warriors. You got to put them there because Curry is just having a yet another monstrous early start to the year, and that duel against John Morant. Oh my God, oh my Lord, that was something serious, bro. They was just going at each other, D3s. My man's hit a one-legged D3, and even though they beat my team, I just I'm not going to be a fool and say that they're put them number 9 or 10, like how I thought they was going to be early in the season. But they've had a good start to the year, and they're going to be number 2 on my list.
Okay. Well, the Warriors also number 2 on my list. They've had a good start to the NBA season. They're 4-1. Not many people thought they would be 4-1 because most people believed they would have lost to both LA teams, and they didn't. And they had a bad game against the Thunder, and they did what good teams do: find a way to win. They also beat, yeah, that was third. Their third, that was their fourth win. So who was their Sacramento. They did a good job beating them. And then against the funny thing is they really should be 5-0 because they blew another 19-point lead against the
Oh yeah,
Grizzlies, but they were unable to close that out. So this team really is, to me, them and the Jazz are the two favorites right now because they've had the most impressive. Now the Warriors have probably had the most impressive list of wins early on, but they did lose. And the way they lost is how the Warriors have been losing for years. Turn the ball over a bunch, and the other team capitalizes.
and not
So
making up, and Curry not making any shots in the fourth quarter.
yeah, just very weird. But like I've other people said, look, great players have bad cores, two cores. I'm not worried about Steph. He'll do fine, and I do think that it's good that right now the team is playing well and he's having these issues. I can't wait until they get Klay Thompson back or Jordan Poole finds a way to start scoring off the bench when he's the guy, because that's what he's going to be when Klay comes back. Until then, we're fine. We got Oklahoma City next game, and I think we're gonna win. So that's it.
My number three, as is, it comes as a shock to me because I did not think this team would ever come number three in anytime soon. But they playing nice right now, and that is the New York Knicks. And why do I say the New York Knicks? They had a very tough first game against not the Boston, the Boston Celtics. They they handily beat the Orlando Magic, and then they lost to them. They handily beat the 76ers with no Ben Simmons, and they had a very good game, very close and competitive game with the Chicago Bulls. And Julius Randle is he's on his way up, he's on his way up there now, and I feel that if they can keep up this momentum, they can make the playoffs again this year. But I did not think that they would be at this level right now. But who knows what could happen in like 60 games from right now. They could be in the top 6, they could be in the top 10. They could be out of the playoffs. Who knows? So that is my
Yes.
third.
So my number
Number
three
three.
is the Memphis Grizzlies. Why? Because the Memphis Grizzlies, to me, have been the third most impressive team in the NBA. They're more impressive than the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Wizards, who are really 4-1. And I don't care. They're not top 10 team. They're 4-1. I don't know who they've been beating quickly for the Wizards. What? Okay, Celtics. They lost in Nets, of course. The Raptors suck. The Pacers suck. Um, yeah, they've beaten two. What? Beaten one good team.
Who? So you said the Raptors. They're like 10th.
Yeah, the Raptors are they're just not very. They're just not a good team.
Who else did they beat? Who else
Well,
did
I
the
was just
Grizzlies beat?
making a point
Oh,
for the Grizzlies, which is I think they're better than all these 4-1 teams in the East.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, by far.
like to
Yeah.
me, they're better than the Hornets. Hornets play no defense. The Wizards, they also play no defense. And the Bulls, I think now the Bulls may be the team. But the reason why I put the Grizzlies there because the way they play against the Lakers, I do think they should have won against the Lakers. John Murray had a chance to send the game to overtime. He didn't. He's looking like he's gonna take that one of those guard spots in the Western Conference, and some established guard in the West is now going to be a All Star this year. He's averaging 38 and like 8 and 4 or 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 30.4 points, tied with Steph Curry for number one in the league. They're 3-2 in the tough West, and they've had some tough losses. If we look here against the teams they've lost, yes, the Timberwolves are 3-1. Nice. No, they're not very good. Stop playing. Um, yeah, what they had a weird loss against the Trailblazers by 20. I think they really could have won against the Lakers. They did. They lost to the no, they beat the Clippers. They almost lost to they lost to the Lakers. The only bad loss is the Trailblazers. So I do think they're gonna be good. And next week, I'll say this: they do have 2 games against the Nuggets, and for whoever they have a game, they have the Heat. So they got 3 games against very good teams. So we'll see. But for me, they're my early number 3.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 4 team is the Charlotte Hornets. Man, why are they why are they oh my damn. They got the ass beat in the preseason bad. Oh my god.
Who? Oh yeah, these got 59 points. Who? I
Oh
don't even know.
my god. I look up and they got the ass whooped. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
bad.
I swear to God, I thought that was the first game that they lost, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually
You're like, oh,
preseason.
whoa, why the fuck they had the number 5? They lost by 70. Yeah, they lost by 68. That's what they lost
Oh,
by.
damn. But Miles Bridges, he's showing out right now. Okay. Let me just mute my phone. Okay, so Miles Bridges, he's showing out right now. They beat the Pacers, they beat the Cavs, they beat the Nets, and they lost to the Celtics, and they beat the
Mhm.
Magic. So they really beat I guess Pacers the okay team. Cavaliers are ass. Nets are ass right now.
We'll see.
The
Anyways.
right, yeah, the Nets are ass right now.
Yeah, they
Celtics
are.
are ass. Magic are ass. So I guess they beat two good teams, and the rest are like, and they lost to Celtics who are dog water.
I
And
mean, the Celtics are okay.
well, they're not playing. They're not okay right now. They're not playing like it,
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
and they beat the
Whew.
Magic.
The Pistons
I
once
feel
again the worst team in the league.
well, who go figure. So
Man, they
I feel
won't.
like if Miles Bridges and Lamelo Ball can sync together as one, they can really hold some value in the next 4 to 5 years when people start want to trade for them. Because I really think that they can do something.
Crooked news about LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. Funny enough, they both have gotten their team options, so they'll be on their teams next year. No kind of weird trade, anything. They'll be on their teams next year, so that's very good for them. Number 4, my team is the Bucks. Okay, the Bucks are 3-2 early in the season through 5 games. They have lost to the Timberwolves, who seem to be better than I thought. It's only 4 games, anyways. Let's see them get into a much tougher schedule. They did lose to the
Well,
Heat,
you
which
said
was a
five.
really
You
bad
said
loss.
five is the Bucks.
The 4 is the Bucks. 4 is the Bucks.
Okay. Okay.
That was the worst game. None of the guys played very well. Giannis had 15 and 10. Who knows? It was just weird. Look at those stats. They only shot 84 shots. Probably, which means a lot of turnovers. Yeah, they had a lot of turnovers. Didn't shoot well from the 3. So that was a bad game. But Giannis is doing what Giannis does: 28, 14, and 5 most through the season. They're 3-2, and it's early, so I'm not. And they're fine. They'll be fine. They're still to me the favorite in the East because, as we know, the other team that most people favor is not very good right now. So that for me is my number 14. They have everything you need for championship.
My number 5 is the okay. My number 5 is the Memphis Grizzlies. So right now they're 3-2. I mean, I don't think that there's much to really say since you said most of it. They beat the Clippers, they lost to the Lakers, and they lost to the Trailblazers, and they had a good game against the Warriors. And John Morant is on the come up, and I'm telling you right now, he's on to be a top 5 guard in the league within like these next couple years if somebody retires. I'm telling you right now. Depending it depends on who though. I don't know who the depends on
Well,
who is in the top 5, but
I mean,
I'll
he may
say this
become a top 5 point guard or guard in general
sooner than later.
this year with the way he's playing. It doesn't take much for things to change. It wasn't, if you look at Steph Curry, it took 1 year, and he's been the guy since. He had, 2014, you kind of knew him, and then once the end of 15, he was the best point guard, probably the best guard in the league. So it does not take much, and at the start of his season has been very, very good. You look at Damian Lillard hasn't started out very well. CJ McCollum's actually been their best player on that team. Chris Paul, you really don't know. You don't really hear much about Chris Paul like that. They're 1-3, the Suns. You know, so to me, that's where he is. He could be top five easily. Kyrie Irving's out of the league for now, so it doesn't take much.
Yes. God damn. Okay.
All right, my number five
Yeah.
team is Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
You can go ahead because my damn noties are going off like crazy.
your notifications.
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to just
So,
keep
so
going on the list then?
oh no, you can you
Oh,
can go. So
okay,
I fixed it now. So
okay.
unless you want
My
to go
number one
ahead,
is Chicago Bulls. We have to be impressed with the Bulls early in the season. They were one of the three undefeated teams until like
I
yesterday.
do
They were
have them
three
on
and
my
a loss.
list.
Yeah, they're 4-1. They've played well. They are a much better team. The people talk about Zach LaVine has a new appreciation for playing defense. Wow, well look what happens when you win.
Wow.
Now he wants to
Wow.
play defense. And
All of a sudden, you get DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic. Now you want to play defense. Now, what's going on here?
he did say that the Olympics was a big part of his mindset change. So it just shows to show you when you win, you're around great players who win a bunch, and you see the way they play defense. Something seems to click every time somebody goes to the Olympics or whatever and has a great experience. Their team is better. They have Alex Caruso, who the Lakers really wanted to keep but couldn't keep due to literally the CBA. They have Lonzo Ball, who's been moved around and now has his afro back and playing, his point guard position. He doesn't have to worry about getting pulled out, all kind of weird and stuff. DeMar DeRozan there too. Patrick Williams, unfortunately, just had a really bad wrist injury, so he's gone for the season. So shouts out to him. Hopefully, he has a full recovery. He was playing significant minutes for them off the bench as well. So yeah, they have a good team over there. Look at their players. Ayo Dosumu, who's really good in college, so we'll see how much he does well. Kobe White, remember Kobe White was a top high draft pick.
Yeah.
He's coming off the bench,
Yeah.
people. He was a really high draft pick for them, so that's a little bit surprising. You got Troy Brown, those guys. They got a good team, a really athletic team, a lot of long guys on their team as well. Lonzo 6'7", DeRozan 6'7", Zach LaVine around the same, Kobe Rice same height. You got Derrick Jones Jr. there too, long, athletic. So they got a good team. If you look at the games they played, they did lose to the Knicks, though. Funny enough, the Knicks actually allowed them to go on a 12-0 run to end the game. They beat the Raptors, who I've said had is just not a good team. They may be okay, but the Pistons are trash. They
Well,
actually
we
beat
know
the Pistons
that.
twice. They beat the Pistons. They beat a bunch of trash 2 times. And the Pelicans are also not very good either. They're 1-4, and
As we call them, trash can water.
they are trash can water. Okay, they're just not very good. Very disappointing. I know Zion's out, but they've got Nico Alexander Walker, and they've got guys. They could be better. Either way, the Bulls are my 5 team. I'm very happy for the city of Chicago that the Bulls are good.
So my number 6 team is the championship Milwaukee Bucks. Right now they on a little they're in a little rocky start right now, 3-2. They whooped the Nets ass as they supposed to. They got the ass whooped by the Heat. Then they whooped the Spurs, and then they whooped the Pacers. So they got the ass whooped by a decent team, and then they whooped a supposedly decent team's ass. And Giannis is doing Giannis things. Chris Middleton is doing Chris Middleton things. Everybody is gelling well together, except now PJ Tucker is gone from that team, and it's like I said, man. It's early week, so the Bucks can turn up and be like 9-2 or some shit like that, or like nine.
or like a 10-3. Who knows what's gonna happen within the next week? They could be like this now, and then they can go ahead and turn up in later on. Yeah. So my number 6 team is the Miami Heat. They're fifth in the conference right now through the first 5 games because this will be the last game of the first, not the last game of the first week. But it's a good time to look. They're 3-1. They're playing actually tonight against the Hornets. I think they beat the Hornets tonight. The Hornets play no defense, and the Heat. They're a very good defensive team, and they're able to score enough points. They beat obviously the Nets and the Bucks, so they have the most impressive schedule wins right now. They did lose against the Pacers for whatever reason in the overtime game, but they did beat the Bucks by a decent margin. 13 points is a blowout in the NBA. So
Yeah, I
the
say like
Buccaneers,
15 is a blow. I say like
yeah,
14, 13, and 15 and
yeah.
plus, 13,
13 is where you
15
start to
plus.
think, oh man, they kind of got blown. They kind of got blown. 15 is where you get blown out for real, for real.
Yeah,
So yeah, they 3-1. Jimmy Butler's having a really good start to the season. He's healthy. He wasn't healthy all last year, really. Bam Adebayo's there. You've got PJ Tucker's on the team. Kyle Lowry is on that team. So and Kyle Lowry's been kind of injured. It's good. Good start off to the season. If we look towards their end of the week, the last game of the week is against the Grizzlies, so that's going to be a nice, good look for them. They got the Mavericks, the Celtics, the Nuggets, and the Jazz, and the Lakers and the Clippers. They've got a lot of teams, man. A lot of good teams next week, so it's going to be a good test for them. They got a good test next week. About 6-7 games against 6-7 good teams, and they've got the Jazz twice. So we'll see.
so my number 7 is. Oh, yeah.
I was just saying there may be a team that moves up, depending on what they do next week, because they've got a lot of games against good teams.
Yeah, that they do. My number 7 is the Chicago Bulls. Now I put them, even though they're top 5 right now, even though I put them this low, you know, they got a decent team around them. They got the best team that they had in quite some time since like the Derrick Rose days, and I feel that I put them down there. Let's check the games. Okay. So I put them down there. They beat the trash can water Pistons. They beat the Pelicans as they supposed to. They beat the Pistons again, trash can water, and they beat the Raptors who are trash. And they only good team that they lost to was the Bulls. Not That's not bad. Two good teams go up against each other. Somebody's got to lose, and they just so happen to be on the losing end. Now they have. I think no. I feel that they have a team that can go far in the East. They do. All you gotta do is win the games they're supposed to win, and if they lose the games they're supposed to lose, then that's all fine and dandy. But if they win the games they're supposed to lose, then it's better for them. That means that they have a better, higher chance at clinching the playoffs while be playing in the play-in. Now, as you have said before, I don't really have to say too much because he already dived in it for me. So I'm just leave it at I feel like they can improve on my list within the next week.
Yes. So my number 7 team, that's what we're on, number 7,
Yes.
is the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, the surprise team of last year, really making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if Trae Young was healthy with a bit banged up Giannis, may have had the opportunity to hit the NBA Finals and really showcase just how far they've come up from 2 years ago when they drafted. They drafted him and they were a top 3 lottery team. They weren't very good. So as you see, through the first couple games here, they lost to the Cavaliers. They lost to the Wizards. So that's their only losses. They beat the Mavericks handily. They beat the Trash Can Water Pistons pretty good because the Pistons suck, and they beat the
Pistons are just
Pelicans.
This is just be thrown in the trash can, lit up with fire.
Yeah, they really do stink. But Kay Cunningham will play like tomorrow, so I can't wait for that because really need to see him play. So the Hawks, you know, Trey Young is looking good. John Collins is looking pretty good as well, averaging a double double. You know, Trey Young's averaging, under his probably won't score as much as 27, like he did. I think last year he scored around that much.
It was last year or the year before.
Last year before.
Actually,
And he's
no.
gone down because, yeah,
Actually, no. I think he scored 29 last year.
okay. Well, we'll see if it goes up or more. He will be a little bit affected by the new rule, which is really probably going to limit a lot of free throws in the league now, because you can't like throw yourself into people as much as you used to be able to. I mean, to a certain extent. So he's going to be affected by that. But I've seen him have double double games. His team is leading. They did lose to the Wizards yesterday. He did not play well, but he did have 50 points and 13 rebounds, while John Collins had 28 and 12. So those guys have been impressive. Cam Reddish is looking pretty good too. He scored 20 off the bench. Clint Capella is not rebounding the ball nearly at the rate he was before, but number one, he didn't play very many minutes either. So they've got a really good team. I'm very impressed with the Hawks and what they're doing as a team, and I'm looking towards them being the real contender in this East because I do think the East is very, very open. I don't think there's a really dominant team. We'll see in 25, 30 games, Christmas, who's really doing well. But they are a team. They're right there competing. They're a good team. Their defense can be a little bit better. With the offense they have, that's a team that can compete. And they are my number 7 team.
My number 8 team is the Dallas Mavericks. Right now they are 3-1. They lost to the Hawks. They handily beat the Raptors, and they just got out of they beat the Rock. They beat our trash team, the Rockets, and they just got by and beat the Spurs, which should not have happened because the Spurs are also doo doo. They're not trash, but they're certainly doo doo. And Luca is not being Luca Magic right now. As I would expect him to be Luca Magic, he's not doing so. You know, you it's always seen the early games in the season where you just can't go out there and just drop fucking 30 points three times in a row. That's just not a that's just not a thing. Can't do that. So I feel that they could also move up on my list, even though they basically beat like three trash can teams and lost to one good team. It's kind of really sus on my end, but what can you do? The NBA puts these games together. They don't put the games together themselves.
Yeah, at least they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and that's all you hope.
That's
Because,
what that's exactly what I'd be saying, man. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and if you beat the teams that you're supposed to lose to, that's even better for you in the long run.
yeah, if I was a team, you want, these top teams at the end of the year for us are going to be teams that have a pretty high winning percentage against the losing teams in the NBA, and at least over 50 something percent winning percentage against the best teams in their conference and around in the other conference. The top four, the top eight, top four of each conference, you want to have at least a winning record. 50% or more would be pretty high. That's what usually are championship teams throughout the year. So that's what you would want more than anything. So I
My
guess it's my turn. Is it my turn? I guess.
Yeah, it's your turn for number 8. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Number 8, put the Hornets. Okay. Now the Hornets are number 8 strictly because they absolutely play no defense, and all they do is try to run and score. And if they're not doing that, it's going to be hard. Now, yes, they were very impressive against the Nets. If you look at every other game, 122 points allowed against the Pacers, 112 against for the Cavaliers, 140 for the Celtics, 111 for the Magic, and the Magic are not a very good offensive team. What does that show you. They allow a lot of points. Obviously, LaMelo Ball is fighting with John Morant for most improved player because that's who they're fighting there for. Like you said before, Miles Bridges is having a career year. He may have finally unlocked himself in this league and, moved himself up. They added Kelly Oubre for team.
Like Krillin and Dragon Ball Z Budokai, he may have unlocked his potential.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's more than Krillin because Krillin's unlocked potential was very small and trash because he's gotten almost no. His power was kind of whack. Wasn't enough. But what can you do? He is Krillin. He's bald. The ultimate power was him getting Andrew 18. For whoever knows, I don't know why he got Andrew 18. It's so weird. Either way, um, yeah, man, the Hornets. They're a good team. They are a young team, and they, this team could have made the playoffs. Legit, made the playoffs. Like, let's not lie here, people. They were number 4 in the conference before the Melo Ball had that crazy injury, and they kind of never were the same. This team, they're real. They're for reals. They beat the Nets already. Okay. Next week they've got the Cavs, the Blazers, the Warriors, the Kings. Damn, everybody keeps getting the Clippers. If you play either one of the Lakers or Clippers, you get the other team too. So that's gonna be interesting. And that will end the week next week. So they've got some games. So it's good.
So my number 9 is going to be my team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Man, I mean, when I say that this team is absolutely terrible right now, even though they're 2-3, they are just terrible. Motherfuckers lost the fucking your Oklahoma City Thunder. We can't shoot for shit against the Grizzlies. Westbrook and AD were 3 for 20. We barely get out of this San Antonio, and we're supposed to really be like what 3-3. We beat the Spurs. We're supposed to beat the Thunder, and okay, yeah, we're really supposed to be 3-3 right now. But let me make sure before.
Yeah, you guys are 2-3. That's a lot.
Okay, yeah, we should be. Okay, so we beat the Grizzlies. No. We beat the Spurs, and we beat the we beat the Spurs and we beat the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And the one team I feel like that we should have really beaten out of the Warriors was Suns.
So you guys lost the Suns?
Yeah, we lost the Suns. I feel like we should have really beat them, but the way that game was going, even though the Suns blew a lead, it was over with. So, and then the upcoming games, we got the Cap. We better win all 4 of these games, including tonight. We better win. We got the Rockets twice. We got the Cavs twice, and we got the Thunder again. If we don't win if we're not 4-0 through that game, through that stretch, I don't know what to tell you. Tell myself actually. I don't know what to tell myself.
Look, I mean, we should beat the Rockets without Braun and the Thunder, but who knows? Anyways,
tell me that. Yeah, tell me that the last time I seen the Thunder. Look what happened. We lost by 8.
They were up by 26.
To a team with no superstars. The fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I mean they got Shea Gilgeous, so he's good.
They only got Shea. That's it. And Josh Giddey. That's it, man. And we got 4 All-Stars on our team. We can't even beat the Thunder. Are you fucking serious? Oh my god,
it's true. So for time, and we got wrestling that's on TV. Quickly for me, I'm going to just put these 2 teams together, move it on. So we have the New York Knicks at 9, the Denver Nuggets at 10. The Knicks have been good. They're 4-1.
No Nets?
Nah, the Nets are not a top 10 team right now. They're not top 10.
They might top 10 strictly because that I thought they was going to be a top up there, but since Kyrie had his little mishap, I just put them strictly in number 10, and they might.
I mean, they're not top 10 because because the way James Harden is playing right now, they're not a top 10 team. He can't get to the line because he can't get his tiki tack fouls, and that's completely limited his upside. You know, I play DFS. James Harden averaged 46 fantasy points per game last year. He's down to 10. He's down by 10 fantasy points because he can't get to the line. You look at his scoring last year was around
25.
almost 30. It's down like at least 5 points because he can't get to the free throw line. He's
Oh no,
averaging
it's down
three
10. It's
free
down
throws.
like it's down by 9. He averaged
What was
25
the last year?
last year. Last
29?
year he averaged 25.
25 was now
It was like 16 or
16?
some shit. Yeah.
So again, look at that. He's down 9 points because that's how he got his points. Okay, he's a great player, but clearly he really benefited from excuse me, the manipulation of rules. So no, they're not a top 10 team. And I think if they play the Knicks and Nuggets, they'll both lose. They'll lose to both teams because both teams have bona fide stars and they have the requisite parts around them. Joe Harris is not to be trusted as a shooter because I've been watching him. He's had trouble making shots the start of this season. The Knicks, okay, are 4-1. The Knicks are the best team in New York. They've had very good wins over good teams. Okay. The Nuggets have also had some good wins. If we quickly go here to the Nuggets, because you talked a lot about the Knicks, so there's no reason to talk about the Knicks as much.
Yeah.
Um, the Nuggets had some good wins. They lost to the Jazz. They lost to the Cavaliers, who, are somewhat of a good team. They had some. They beat the Nuggets. They did. They did beat the Suns, so that was good. Nikola Jokic has had some good games. Not great, but good. 13, 27 and 13 against the Suns. Even against the Jazz, I believe he played well. He had 24, 6 and 6. So he had a good game against them. And obviously, he had 32, 7 and 16 against the Spurs. So he's off to his MVP level, the reigning MVP, the rightful MVP of last season. He was good. And they'll be a fine team. They have some nice, easy games, I think, coming up. Got the Timberwolves, so I still think it's easy until they prove me otherwise. And the Rockets, who are just a bunch of young kids playing the game. So they got some easy wins coming up. And they've got some tough games against the Grizzlies and the Heat.
So I think we have gotten everything out that we have wanted to say. So I think is that it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be doing this every week, our NBA power rankings. We may increase it to a 12 or 15, but wouldn't be as much of a breakdown. We just talk about what we've seen during the week,
Yeah.
their upcoming games, and the averages of the players uh, coming that for that week. But this is a fun exercise. We've got games going on right now that I'm going to be watching. Some of these teams are even playing. The Heat, the Hornets, they're playing today. So the Nuggets are also playing today. So we got some good games going on.
So quick disclaimer: this is probably going to go. This will go on for the foreseeable future. Most likely, probably
The entire
there's
season.
nothing else to really talk about. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
As we have done in the past. So
Hmm.
one thing we also don't do is we're not going to force topics. We're not going to force to talk about what other people talk about. We're going to talk about what we can and what we know about. We're not going to just
Yeah.
all this drama. Okay, let's put it on here. No. At first
You
we
know,
tried that. We didn't really like it. So that at first that's what I wanted to do. Keep up with that stuff. I was like, you know what? No, we're only gonna bring the drama if it's like something interesting that we both know about. Put it like that. So
yeah. We're not
uh,
gonna fight. We're not gonna do all that, and that's fine. That's all we do. It's cool.
I mean, even though we small right now. I mean, we don't do this for the views. We don't do this for the clout. We simply do this because we can be able to have our own platform and talk about what we want to talk about with no, oh, you can't say this or that because this is our shit at the end of the day. And if you got a problem with it, you can either pay pay up or you can shut up. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, this has been another episode of the APF podcast, episode 128. It is the most phenomenal man that has shot the system, aka the coach, signing out.
And there's your boy going forward. I hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. This was a very cool, really good podcast. Had some great discussions and talks about the leagues in general. We don't give a shit about baseball.
No, fuck baseball.
Yeah, baseball is just boring. Sorry to say, it's the most boring sport ever. They stand around, throw a ball at each other for like 4 hours. It is what it is. Okay, if you like the podcast, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Look at look at those links down below. Click that down arrow to open them.
Look at the
And if you
playlist
do support
also.
the podcast, yeah, and we continue to do this podcast because that's what we want to do, and we're having fun doing it every week. So that's it for me.
And,
And us.
and we out of here, bitch.
Later.